Wow. Got a turtleneck. Got my Steve's Jobs on. Big Stevie, right. England execute the perfect counter-strikes. Usain Bolt is on track to becoming a pro. Barcelona's defensive hunt leads them to North London. And could we see Harry Maguire on the new £50 note? That and more coming up in the next few minutes, as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and a quick recap of last night's action where, unbelievably, England beat Spain in Spain. The match finished 3-2, and if anything, England were fantastic in the first half and a bit mediocre in the second, but who cares, they won in the end. Within the game, there were many talking points. Firstly, Eric Dyer, what a tackle on Sergio Ramos. Secondly, Busquets throwing the ball at the ref at the final whistle was pretty terrible, to be honest. Thirdly, Harry Kane proved he is a class striker even when he doesn't score. And lastly, Raheem Sterling managed to end his goal drought in spectacular fashion with 2 first-half goals. If this doesn't give you confidence for the future moving forward, England fans, well, I don't know what will. And talking of Raheem Sterling, Jamaican football may just have a new hero, as Usain Bolt has been offered a professional footballing contract deal at the Maltese champions. Even though he's on trial with Central Coast Mariners in Australia and scored 2 goals in his debut, Bolt has been offered a 2-year deal by a club which harbours ambitions of breaking into the Champions League. Valletta have now been taken over by the Abu Dhabi-based Sambang Group and hope that an injection of money and some big PR stunts like signing Bolt will find them into Europeans' top dining table. But will Usain Bolt actually take the deal? In my eyes, he probably will. Let's be honest, at 32 years old, it's probably a bit late to be thinking about starting a professional football career, regardless of what you did beforehand, even being the fastest man in the world. It seems unlikely that he'll be offered a contract with Central Coast Mariners, so you might as well take the 2-year deal, get to play in some pretty cool European football competitions, and then maybe, just maybe, we could see Usain Bolt in the Champions League. But away from that, and now to some more serious business in the Champions League, involving one of the biggest clubs and their hunt for some defensive cover. Barcelona are looking to replace Thomas Vermaelen, as he always ends up on the injury table. PK is reaching his twilight years of his career, and Samuel Umtiti could not defend the Nou Camp goal all by himself. This has led to reports that Matthijs de Ligt is apparently going to leave Ajax for Barcelona, but the club have said that they won't be selling him in the January transfer window, meaning that Barcelona have turned their attentions elsewhere. Cue Toby Alderweireld. Apparently Barca may make a bid for him in January, but could wait until the end of the season to sign him on a free transfer if Alderweireld decides to let his contract run down. But this is where it gets a little bit confusing. If they sign him in January, he'll cost a certain amount of money. Not crazily expensive, but not cheap either. If they let him go for free in the summer, well, obviously he'll cost nothing, but by that time, Tottenham may have swayed him to sign a new deal. However, if he does sign a new deal with Tottenham, there is also a minimum fee release clause of 25 million, which a club can then bid in the summer. So basically they can pay now, wait for him to be free, or wait for him to be free, but if they lose out, they can also pay some money afterwards. It gets pretty ridiculous. And then to further complicate the situation, Manchester United are also interested, but Manchester United, because they play in the same domestic league as Spurs, can't talk to any of their players about a pre-contract signing in January until they've officially left the club in July, meaning that Barcelona now have first option, as does any other foreign club, on talking to Alderweireld without Spurs' permission about a pre-contract deal. Again, if they let this run, Tottenham can offer him a new one, Manchester United can come in the summer, or a new one could be offered and they'll pay him 25 million. It all gets very confusing, but basically, will Alderweireld move to United or Barcelona, or sign a new deal at Spurs? I'm gonna need to sit down after that one. And lastly, we come to a pretty funny story where the new £50 note in England has a new face on it. Who is it? Well, it's yet to be decided and could be left to public vote. We all know what happened last time Britain voted on something, it didn't end so well. But this one could go slightly better, where apparently the likes of Harry Maguire could end up on the new £50 note. Despite the vote not actually going public just yet, many people on social media have had their say who they'd like to see on the £50 note, with Harry Maguire's face constantly popping up. Him celebrating or even on an inflatable unicorn has been a popular one, alongside Newcastle and England legendary manager Bobby Robson. Elsewhere, people have also been calling for Jordan Pickford to be put on it after his heroics in the penalty shootout against Colombia, as well as Gareth Southgate for just being an already legendary manager in England fans' eyes. Either way, if someone from the 2018 Russian World Cup squad does not make it onto the £50 note, I'll be pretty disappointed. But whilst we're waiting for the conclusion of that ridiculous story to happen, why don't you click here to check out all the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. Don't forget to smash the like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comment section who you'd have on the £50 note. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.